What is up, everyone? I'm Skratch. Welcome to the channel. This is another Raid Shadow Legends video. We are currently on the test server, guys. We're gonna have a look at the most busted nuker in the game, and busted in a very good way because he's super powerful. And we didn't have an addition like him for quite a while. And probably you guys noticed that we have a couple of new mythical champions. Of course, I'll be talking about a new mythical champion like because they're not really adding any very interesting legendaries. Lazarius from the Lizardman faction, Magic Affinity, guys. Mythical champion, he has two forms, looks pretty awesome, and we're gonna check the skills in a second, but check this out first. Look how badass and how evil, how mean he looks on this form, right? Like, he looks so freaking mean, like, what you want from me, man? What you want from me? That's how he looks like it, right? So basically, guys, let's go back to the first form. The problem with the mythical champions are, let's just say problem, is that you need to either sacrifice stats for one form to another, either you just pick one of them and you look at the other one as bonus. That's what I'm doing. So this form, to me, is a bonus. The other one is the main form that I want to utilize to get maximum potential out of it. Now, this form is something that I see very useful for Hydra Clan Boss, very useful for a lot of PvE content, and very useful even for arena content as well. Speed aura for all battles by 25% on both of the forms. The A1 here attacks an enemy, places a shield on the ally with the lowest HP. The shield value is proportional to this champion's attack. The A2 right here attacks all enemies. Before attacking, places block debuffs on your team. So basically, it gives immunity to all of your champions. Then decreases the duration of all enemy buffs by 2 turns. So this basically can strip the buffs from them and not get polymorphed at the same time, which is definitely very interesting. Then, after attacking, places a block buffs debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. This has a chance to get you polymorphed after, but it's happening after you're doing the other effect, which is very nice. And it's not necessarily the biggest problem. How I mentioned, I'm seeing this as a bonus. Now, this is very impactful for Hydra Clan Boss. Immunity on your team, block buffs on the Hydra heads. You're decreasing the duration of buffs if they have any before you're putting the block buffs. So let's just say the head of mischief stole a couple of buffs from you, and that cheeky bugger is about to spread the buffs on the rest of the heads, and he's doing it. And you're like, oh my god, I gotta provoke the head of the cave. No, is about to shield the one that just devoured my other champion. Well, you can go in with him, for example, and you're gonna decrease the duration of buffs by 2 turns on them. Hopefully that will be enough, and then put block buffs on them. So then you're gonna be able to provoke again the head of decay or do whatever you guys had to do. So it's definitely a pretty powerful skill for that, you know. The A3, the Rift's Gaze, and they're on a 3-turn cooldown. Okay, let me mention that as well. Plus, you are ignoring 20% of the target's resistance with all of these skills on mythical champions, so the requirement for accuracy is not as high. Fills the thermometer of all allies by 20%, decreases the thermometer of all allies by 20%, and then it gives you increased attack and it gives you strengthen on all of your champions, right? What a strong skill. Then you have the passive. At the start of this champion's turn, puts a perfect veil and an increased accuracy on himself. This champion receives a damage reduction of 3% for every 750 attack you have on himself. So you basically need 7,500 attack to stack the 30%. You're not going to do that on this form without increased attack. So I would assume that increased attack will affect this as well, you know. Then at the end of his turn, this is the active effect on a 3-turn cooldown, revives a random ally with 50% HP and thermometer and puts perfect veil on them for 2 turns. Like, what a nasty champion already as a support, right? But then you're swapping forms and you're going to this mean champion. With A1 attacks an enemy 2 times. He decreases the attack, he decreases the defense, he destroys the HP on the enemy based on what sort of champion they are, and it only works on attack champions and stuff like nukers. It doesn't work on support champions. At the same time, he increases his attack with every hit by 3%, stacking up to 30%, you know? But this is a basic skill, guys. It's a basic skill, okay? So this is very nasty to decrease all this. It's like having a cruelty on your champion, okay? On the A1, on the basic skill, having a cruelty, and having something that increases their attack too. Then, You have the A2, attacks all enemies, will ignore shield and increase defense buffs on a 3-turn cooldown. Before attacking, removes all debuffs from himself, so he cleanses himself, and increases his damage by 15% for each debuff removed. So if you remove 10 debuffs from this champion, which is very hard to make it happen, you're going to increase your damage by 15% for each debuff, guys, okay? So 150% extra damage, but it's not very likely for that to happen. What is more likely to happen is that if you have no debuffs, if you're not removing any debuffs from this champion, he's going to increase his attack damage by 15% for each alive ally instead, okay? Which is, wow, bonkers, okay? Because you're gonna get so much damage. The multipliers on this champion are not great, actually. If you're just looking at the multipliers, they feel pretty underwhelming. The first version has a 4-point multiplier on the A1, which is pretty good. The A2 has a 3.8, which is decent, considering that the base attack is pretty low there. He's not really going to deal a lot of damage with that. But if you are looking at the multipliers on this form, you have a 2-point multiplier in here, which again equals a 4 with a double hit. Right here, you have a multiplier of 3.4, okay? So this on its own, without these parts, is not going to be great, okay? So keep that in mind. But once those things go in, this skill goes at the level of Georgid, okay? Then you have the A3, attacks one enemy 2 times, will ignore any ally protection, strengthen, and shield buffs, as well as 30% of the target's defense. Yes, we do not ignore Stone Skin. I know that. But still, he ignores kind of like the main things that you want, and he ignores defense. And this is a 2.5 multiplier, equals a 5.0 multiplier with a double hit. Not the best multipliers from there. I'll be honest, they could be a bit higher, but he already does so much that would be very crazy to have even higher multipliers on this skill. Because he steals 50% of the target's turn meter as well, and that cannot be resisted. Then the passive. The passive effect, at the start of this champion's turn, places an increased attack and an increased crit damage for 2 turns. And this has no cooldown. Every time you take a turn, you're going to get a buff on yourself. So he's not dependable of nobody else to give him the increased attack, which is a very, very good plus on his kit. Then the active effect on a 3-turn cooldown increases the cooldown of all enemy skills by 2 turns whenever this champion kills an enemy. So if you know what Basher and Alika do, whenever you kill an enemy, you'll be increasing the skills on your enemies by 2 turns. What a freaking nasty passive to have. Then, if the champion kills 2 or more enemies in a single attack, this effect will only activate once. Now, you do not need accuracy for this to happen, guys, okay? You do not need accuracy. You do need accuracy for the other form, okay? So, it's either you go support, either you go attack. But seeing this attack kit, will you go just support? Probably not. So, I would suggest you, if by any chance you get blessed by the gods to manage to summon a mythical champion and you get this bad boy, just focus on one thing on him, and that will be the attack side. Then, of course, you have the same speed aura. Now, total stats for this champion, guys. I have him built on a Savage and Cruel, right? On the first initial form, you see, it's hard to tank him. That's why I'm like, either you go attack, either you tank him. If you tank him, you won't do damage with the other form. If you just give him a lot of attack, you don't tank him a lot. But thankfully, for the passive that he has, you bring in some damage reduction. So that can help him to stay alive a bit longer. 43k HP, 5.7k attack, 2.4k defense, 251 speed, full crit rate, 283 crit damage. Only 187 accuracy. Thankfully, he buffs at the beginning of his turn with increased accuracy every time he takes a turn. So that will put me at 250 accuracy more or less, which is definitely not amazing, but it can work for most of the things like dungeons and stuff, except the hard mode dungeons, which require 350. Then you have the base form, the alternate form, sorry, my bad. 37k HP, 7.1k attack, 2.1k defense, 239 speed, 102 crit rate, 296 crit damage. And again, I don't need accuracy for this one. But this deals the damage. And that's kind of like what I want to prioritize on the champion, because that passive is just too disgusting not to do it, you know? Masteries, offense, and support 3. I went with support just for the standard form to get a bit of accuracy, get the lasting gifts. And we have Helm Smasher as tier 6. Typical masteries for a nuker. But that being said, guys, let's have a quick look at his animations. His damage. And then we're going to take him in for a spin in Arena. We're going to take him in for a spin in Hydra Clan Boss as well and see how well he performs in these areas. So as usual, we test champions on stage 23. I don't need anyone to give me increased attack. I'm going to get in Lydia to put defense down and weaken, and the rest of the champions are there just to basically increase the damage for each ally, you know? So let's go in. We're going to check a bit the animations on him as well, because why not? So the very first skill that you can use on him will be the A2 from the base form, and that's buffing, debuffing, and decreasing the duration of buffs on the enemy. So he's basically pulling some snakes to the enemy. That's actually pretty cool. Looks nice, the animation. Then, of course, you're going to be able to move to this skill right now, and this fills the thermometer of all allies by 20%, decreases their thermometer, buffs, so you get strengthened, you get increased attack. What else you want, basically? You know, like, you're getting them all. He's such a complete champion. Like, he has so many things in his skill that are so important, you know. An absolute monster. Right now, we can change form. I love when they do that. And I feel like the animations from here are very similar with Ramantus. So let's just use, for example, the AoE attack. Check this out. More or less similar. It just feels like he's just hitting with his thing there, with his weapon, you know. So there we go. Right now we can use the A3, and this feels again like his Ramantus move. Yeah. But look at that damage, man. 300k plus. We just annihilated the enemy. And we got that thermometer, which puts us at the front again, so we can take another turn here. Of course, in Arena won't happen the same, because the other ones will have very similar thermometer. But there we go. The A1 was fairly decent as well. Pretty good damage. Okay. And right now, let's use the AoE again. 390k, 373k. Once the Master is come in play to increase a bit of damage even more, it goes crazy. But if we're going to head over to Arena, guys, we've seen the damage. If we're going to go against a team with Marichka, let's actually not even take a reviver. We don't need it. We don't need a reviver. We have support from him, this champion, you know. We have a 1-star polymorph here, so it's okay. It's okay. And I'm actually gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. Let's see. Okay, you do you. Nice. And right now, I can either try to strip the buffs with him, which is kind of like the main thing what I brought him in, is to lock her passive, you know. But I'm going to wait a bit. And I'm going to go with the A1 first. I want to use the A2 on the support part, okay? I might not have enough accuracy, even with the accuracy lead, you know. But we can attempt. Okay, so at least we got it on Duchess, not on Marichka, because we got resisted there. So if you really want to have this part to give you a lot of value on the champion, you really need to have some accuracy, you know. I feel like if you're planning to use him in your Hydra team, you know, you can always swap the banner from attack to accuracy, go do your Hydra, and when you're ready for Arena again, you swap it back to attack. I feel like it should be as simple as that. And right now we can swap forms, and I'm actually gonna go in with this skill. Bang. No more passive. We increase the cooldowns on the other champions. And now, even if I would want, I could decrease the cooldowns on the rest. Okay, and now, bang. Put them to sleep, basically, you know. And just like that, Lazarius coming in hot. Now, it will be a different cup of tea if we're going against a team that might have a UDK. If we're going against a tanky team like what Farfstoff might have here. So you definitely need a Ramantu in here. Either a Ramantu, either a champion that could potentially remove buffs from them. But the main thing that you need to think about is passives. Passives bring about a lot of damage reduction, so Ramantu is the most effective weapon against them. And probably your guys are wondering, Skratch is polymorph, why is Ramantu not an issue? Well, because he's built with the right things, resistance and accuracy. But I cannot use Ramantu against 6-star polymorph because he's getting wrecked, you know. And it's the same for all the other champions. If you build them with resistance, you can use them against this level of polymorph. You know, it's fine. But once you encounter a 6-star polymorph, that champion cannot be used. Unless you want to gamble, you know? And I know you're all filthy gamblers. I know we're all filthy degenerates gamblers here. So let's do that. Lock the passives. And right now, I could risk it to go for a block buffs on them. But anyway, Demitrala might cleanse. So instead, I'll rather prefer to go in and kill somebody, you know? Kill one of the enemies in here and increase the cooldowns of their skills. Because like this, we don't need accuracy. So I can increase the cooldowns of Mitrala's skills even if she has 5,000 resistance, you know? So that's a very good thing, very beneficial. Okay, so now it's time to take that Duchess down once we're going to take our turn. Against Marichka and Taras, I feel like is a completely different story, though. Like, we're going to have to play that very differently, you know? So the first hit got that Duchess down. We got a Thermitor from her. And even though this was a tanky team, we still managed to wipe the floor with them, you know? And that's actually pretty damn powerful. This one will lock me. So this one will lock me. I don't have a resistance Skymar. But at the same time, I don't care. At the same time, I actually don't care about it. So let them lock me. My problem is they're going to lock my my Ramantu. So what I'm going to do here is take you out of here. Take you out of there. Put you in the lead. And should we bring Duchess in? She's not on resistance build either. Like, none of them have resistance, okay? But he can swap forms anyway, so that's fine. I can go in and deal damage. And maybe I can recover after with my Duchess too. So let's try it. Let's try it. Let them lock me. Let them lock me, basically. Taras got polymorphed. Easy. Easy, baby. Exactly what you like to see, you know? So swap this. And right now, I could try to kill that Mitrala, but I'm pretty convinced he's going to have reaction. But you know what? Just for the sakes of it, I'm going to try it. And we got a Thermitor from her. We haven't killed her. One hit was on reaction. The other one was normal. But that's fine. Okay, Marichka, bringing a bit of healing back in here. And slowly I'm going to recover my skills. The thing with Yumeko, she only logs the skills for 3 turns, right? So you can recover pretty quick. And right now we increase the cooldowns of their skills. Even on that Taras, if I've seen it correct. So now we can attack him. We haven't put him down. What? I cannot believe such a thing. We recover. A1. It's not gonna kill. Oh, we got resisted on my Ramantu. What a joke. Is that actually a 3% chance or is it like for real? I'm gonna be in trouble because he's gonna revive the rest, but that's fine. I guess. Yeah, we got a 3% there. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, let's kill her. Bring the other ones back, and then we can wipe the floor with them again. Not a problem. So let's Veil. We are protected in here. Nothing bad can happen. And I should get close to the AoE, right? So right now I can just do that to them. Marichka and Taras go down, you know. 639k damage. So that's pretty damn good as well, actually. Pretty damn good. But if we're going to give it a go against the double couple, the double trouble in here and see what they're made of, you know? See what they're made of. Let's put this. Let them take a turn before. They can nuke. I have Stone Skin. I'm protected, so I don't have to worry about it. I have the shield set. Okay, so one nuke in. What about the Arotos? Is he going to take a turn before me or no? Doesn't seem like it. Doesn't seem like it. So let's see. My god, so many buffs on that 6-star polymorph. Don't ship me. Don't ship me, thank you. So right now, okay, we increase the cooldowns of their skills. Seems like for whatever reason not on Sifi. And why is that? We just killed one ally. We should increase the cooldowns of the skills on all the enemies. All the enemies, regardless of who they are by 2 turns, right? So that's a weird. I think it must be some sort of a bug. It must be some sort of a bug. Okay, not sure why, but it's definitely a bug. That one. That should not be happening. That should not be happening. For her to have the revive straight out of the gate there, you know. Okay, and there we go. Job done. Job done. We should be dealing with Taras now. I'm very curious why that happened, though. Why Sifi was able to revive after we killed Rotos. Very, very strange. Very, very strange. But this is Lazarius, guys, in Arena. Very powerful. He can wipe whoever, whenever, you know. It's just kind of like another day in Lazarius' life. He does a pretty good job at smacking the enemies left and right. Let me show you how you can play him in Hydra, for example. So he has two amazing forms. One support, one damage. Not the best damage by any means, or not even close to it, but it's still very helpful. And the good part about him is that you can constantly move around with the forms, you know, swap around what you're planning to do. So provoke 2 turns, thank you. Right now, if I would use this skill, I can put block buffs on them. I can put immunity on my team. And if by any chance they would have the Toxic Cloud on and they would have buffs, when I'm using the first part of the skill, all the effects get applied before dealing damage. So I would decrease the duration of all the enemy buffs, and then I will attempt to put the block buffs, which it won't happen because it will be a weak hit, you know. But you can remove the buffs basically if they're for 2 turns on them. So let's do this. Put block buffs. Of course, weak hits will happen. We have immunity on my team now. And let's deal with this Head of Mischief. It will mess up your Mischief target initially because he buffs himself with 2 buffs every time he takes a turn. So that's going to be a bit harder to keep under control, you know. Let's put some buffs on ourselves as well here. Okay. Head of Mischief, go down. Go down. We don't want to see you. We don't want to see you. Okay. And now slowly we're going to be able to test a bit of damage. But before that, I can always buff with increased attack, strengthen on my team, and then move over to the next phase where I'm going to be dealing damage, you know. And here we go. Here we go. No A2 available. That would have been helpful. A lot of damage from there. But it's perfect right now because we can swap forms and see how much damage we're going to deal on a decapitated head with his A3, for example. So, let's see. 453, 465. Definitely not too bad. Not too bad. But how I mentioned, it's not the craziest damage. Increase the Shamael with his A2. Most probably, he will do around the same. So, let's see. You see Mishinaki 500k, so he hits harder with a single hit, but it's only 1 instead of a 2 hit. Okay, come on. 597 from Mishinaki there. Oh, this is gonna take a while. Let me just go grab a coffee, grab a coffee, go out for a run, and by the time Shamael is done with this, I'll be back. That's why I don't like using him. My God, he takes so much to do all these animations. But look at this. Actually, it's 1.2 million from him. So way more damage than our new mythical champion on Hydra, but it's still good. So this skill. Right now, I have no debuffs on the champion. So I'm not going to get increased damage from there. But I will get a lot of increased damage from the teammates that I have alive. 5 of them, okay? So that should give me a 75% increase in the damage that we're dealing. I'm very curious to see how much damage we are dealing on the decapitated head and on the ones that are alive. So let's see. 558, 140, 100 and something else. Not that insane, actually. Not that insane for damage, right? But at the same time, is something extra in your team. Once you use the skills, you can always go back to the other form. Come, put the debuffs on the enemy, put the buffs on yourself. And then once you're done with that, you can always come back and do it again. You know, so that's basically how it's going to be played out. The Head of Mischief is about to steal the buffs from him. I'm pretty positive. Okay, maybe no, maybe no. So let's put a Hex. Let's put a Hex and do some work in here. Have quite a good damage in here. 11 turns, 12 million damage, not too bad. I'm very curious to see the damage from the champion compared to a Mishinaki, for example. I'm only going to do 20 million damage, up to 1 key, right? And that should cut in. But you see, again, the same issue. You're gonna have issues with a Mischief target with him because of his passives, constantly buffing, you know. And it's not always the biggest issue, but it can be an issue. It can be an issue at some point, and yeah. Okay. Let's swap forms. So there we go. Or actually, should we deal damage? No, let's swap forms and remove the buffs from there. There we go. Boom! Block buffs. We took everything down from them. And we put immunity on my team. And now it will take me 2 more turns before I can go back to the damage one, but that's fine because we're gonna buff again and we're gonna put increased attack and other things on our champions, which will be pretty beneficial as well, you know. But again, he's losing the buffs because of the passive. So that's the one oof with him, I feel like, for Hydra. The passive constantly messing up your mischief target. And it might not seem like the biggest issue, but trust me, if you're pushing for bigger numbers than just get a 1 key and you're kind of like working on it to maximize the damage, the Head of Mischief will create you a lot of issues with that. You know, stealing the buffs from him, losing the increased attack, maybe transferring buffs on some other champions, which will delay you the damage and stuff like that. So that will hold you back a bit. I'm telling you that from experience. And yeah, I don't know if personally, if I would use him in Hydra Clan Boss, I'll be honest with you. I like the support part 100%. I feel like it definitely has a lot of potential, but I don't know if I would actually use him here. Of course, you do need the accuracy. You can always change the banner, how I think I mentioned it before, and go back and forward, you know, if you really want to use him in here. But there we go. We got a 1 key, and I feel like we're going to stop it here. Let's see the damage. So we have Lazarius with 3.4. A lot of the damage went to the Hex set, to Lydia Mishinaki 9. Again, he got damage from the Hex. But the best example is Inquisitor Shamael with 4.1 million damage. And if you compare him with Lazarius, you see he's out-damaging him a bit. But then Lazarius, not only that he deals the damage, but he brings you support. And I feel like that's very, very, very important. But that was all for today's video, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you think about this bad boy Lazarius? I feel like he's very nasty. A lot of crowd control, not to mention for faction wars, for Doom Tower waves, and all the rest of the things with a form that deals damage. I was like, face skill, I kind of like lost myself in translation. But that was all for the video. Appreciate all of you guys watching, and I'll catch you all soon in the next one. Peace.